Imagine living alone in your house, and one night you hear footsteps above your ceiling. You think it might be an animal, maybe a cat, maybe a rat. But then you realize something terrifying. The footsteps sound like a person. Michael had moved into an old house outside the city. The house was cheap, it was quiet, and it had a small attic above the ceiling. At first, everything felt normal. Michael enjoyed the peaceful life. He worked during the day and returned home in the evening. Nothing strange happened for the first few weeks, but one night something unusual began. Michael was lying in bed. It was around 2 a.m. The house was silent. Then suddenly he heard a sound. Step, step, step. The sound came from above his ceiling. Michael opened his eyes. He listened carefully. The footsteps moved slowly across the attic floor. At first, Michael thought it was an animal. Old houses often had small animals living in the attic. So he ignored it and went back to sleep. But the same thing happened the next night, and the next night. Every night around 2 a.m., he heard footsteps above his room. Always slow, always careful. After a few days, Michael decided to check the attic. There was a small wooden ladder in the hallway. It led to a hatch in the ceiling. Michael climbed the ladder and pushed the hatch open. Dust filled the air. The attic looked empty. There were old boxes and broken furniture. Nothing unusual. Michael closed the hatch and climbed down, but the footsteps continued every night. One evening, something strange happened. Michael returned home from work. When he entered the kitchen, he noticed something was wrong. A glass on the table had moved. He was sure he had left it in the sink that morning. Michael looked around the house. Everything else looked normal, but the strange feeling stayed in his mind. Later that night, the footsteps started again. This time they sounded heavier, almost like someone was walking slowly above him. Michael grabbed a flashlight. He climbed the ladder again. The attic was dark and quiet, but something new caught his attention. One of the old boxes had been moved. Michael was sure it had been in another corner earlier. His heart started beating faster. He walked deeper into the attic. Then he saw something that made him freeze. In the corner of the attic, there was a small mattress, and beside it, empty food cans. Someone had been living there, inside his attic. Michael felt terrified. He ran downstairs and called the police. Within minutes, officers arrived at the house. They carefully searched the attic. At first, they found nothing. But then one officer noticed something strange. Behind the boxes, there was a small hidden space between the walls. The officer shined his flashlight inside, and suddenly, someone moved in the darkness. A thin man slowly crawled out. He looked pale and dirty. The police quickly arrested him. Later, they discovered the truth. The man had secretly entered the house weeks earlier. He had been living inside the attic the whole time, only coming out at night to take food from the kitchen. Michael felt shocked. For weeks, someone had been living just a few feet above him, watching, listening, waiting for the house to become quiet. And the most disturbing part? The police said something strange. The man knew Michael's daily routine perfectly, which means he had been watching him for a long time.